Hello everyone, welcome back to another deck profile, this time for the GOAT format. I have another agent variant list, this time with the original Ishizu cards that many people may or may not be aware of. They are Earth Fairies still, like the better new ones that were banned a little while ago. However, they don't quite do the same thing. They are still pretty good, and I'll be going over that in a second here. So, starting off, we have 3 Agent of Force Mars. Mars is a level 3 light fairy monster that is unaffected by spell cards, and it reads if you control the Sanctuary of the Sky and your life points are higher than your opponent's life points, its attack and defense is equal to the difference. A very powerful card. It's one of your main aggressors in the deck, other than another monster that I'll be getting to in a while. But it has built-in protection, and it has the effect of as long as your points are higher and you control the field spell, it gets a lot of attack points. So very good card. This is a little bit of a interesting pick here, but I have 2 Agent of Creation Venus instead of 3. Venus is a very interesting card because most people don't be playing Venus at all, or if you are playing Venus, it's just in a typical fairy aggro deck profile list. The thing about Venus is not only is it an agent monster, but its effect to send fairies from deck hand to the field is very strong, especially in GOAT format. Turn 1, if you were to see Venus, it's very explosive. Otherwise, late game, 1600 attack on the level 3 is not bad at all. But you do want to play Venus. You don't want to see Venus at 3 necessarily because you got to make room for other things. And once you already do the Shine Ball effect, it's kind of just a vanilla monster at that point. And it's also the only card on the deck that deals with losing life points, because the whole point is to gain life points. So it's instead of playing Venus and the 3 Shine Balls, you could play maybe like either Giant Rats, which I'll get into a second, or you could play Triple Tomato, and then you can also play like a Blackluster Soldier. If you want to do like a Chaos package, it's not a bad idea. I've definitely considered it, but I want to do Venus just to fit the agent theme. Also, again, explosive starts, very good. Fills a graveyard. Another monster that's even more questionable than Venus, but I have a way to back it up, is the Agent of Wisdom Mercury. So the Agent of Wisdom Mercury is a 0 attack 1700 defender that reads, if during your standby phase, if you control this face-up card and you have no cards in your hand, at the end of your opponent's last end phase, you draw 1 card. So the whole point is, obviously you're not just going to normal summon pass unless you're really desperate. A lot of times you're going to have like a Shining Angel that dies in combat or like face down, and you go into the Mercury as like a way to draw more cards, because a lot of the times this is like more like a control strategy. So you're going to be dumping a lot of your hand on the field as set craft cards. And Mercury does come up every once in a while to draw an extra card, but a lot of times you're going Shining Angel first, or not Shining Angel. It's not a bad option to have. 1700 defense is not bad at all. 0 attack, again, doesn't matter that much when you have Sanctuary in the Sky. It's pretty good, all things considered, for the extra draw. 2 Saturn. Saturn is a level 6, 2400 0 defender. That says if you control the Sanctuary in the Sky, you can, instead of going into your battle phase this turn, tribute it to burn your opponent equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's, as long as your life points are higher. Very powerful effect, and honestly the main win condition of the deck, apart from like Medora or Mars. Not much else to say about that. You're just kind of stalling the game out, chipping your opponent away at your life points, gaining life points yourself, and then you either you kind of just go into a Saturn or a Mars, or late game you go in Medora for just that game. That's how you push for game there. Triple Shiny Angel. Shiny Angel, again, very important. It fills your graveyard, special summons things from your deck. Primarily, it summons itself. Other than that, it can summon the Mercury for an extra draw if you're empty-handed. It can summon Mars if you do have the Sanctuary of the Sky, and just probably stops your opponent outright at that point. And it also summons Mystical Shine Ball if you absolutely need a target. So, can't play it without that card, of course. Next up, we have 2 Medora. So Medora is a level 4 Earth Fairy, 1500 attack, 1800 defense. And it reads, the attack of this card increases by 200 points for every fairy type monster in your graveyard. So, late game, mid to late game, you go Medora. It gets huge. On average, I'd say it's around, late game, around the attack points of, like, a Monarch on normal summon. Very good. Not much else to say about that. You can summon it off a Giant Rat if you were playing Giant Rat. I am not currently, but it's always room for options. There's definitely a lot of, like, flex spots you could play, like, a Giant Rat in. Because Giant Rat also summons all the other Ishizu monsters, not just Medora. But this is also just a very good powerhouse card. Not much else to say there. Next up, I'm playing Agido. So Agido is interesting. It's a 1500 to 1300 that says when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you roll a d6. And you can special summon a fairy monster from your graveyard with the level of the roll number. If it's a 6, you can special summon a 6 or higher. It's almost good enough to where I wanted to run like a Guardian Angel Joan because she gains a bunch of life points, and I still might go that route at some point. But primarily, he summons, if you roll 4, you can grab himself back, funny enough, or like a Medora or like a Shining Angel. Level 3s are not bad because you can grab like a Mars or Venus. And if it hits 6, obviously it's Saturn. 2, like Shine Ball. 1 and 5 are the only no targets in the deck. Parshath's not a bad choice. I almost considered Parshath just because of Agido. Yeah. So, yeah, I might do some experimenting there too. Play that Parshath for Agido. Not a bad card at all. It summons back things. Worst case scenario, it doesn't. It's fine. It's still not the end of the world there, but obviously it's great if you do. Kelbeck, 1500 attack, 1800 defense. Again, just like Medora. This one says when it's attacked by a monster and by after damage calc, return that monster to the hand. So it's not a damage return, but like it deters your opponent from attacking because if you control a Sanctuary in the Sky, they're not giving you damage anyway, and it's bouncing their monster. I mean, maybe in the scenario that they have like a breaker, but that's, a what if. It'll probably not happen very often because you go flip and then it'll probably bounce like a recruiter or something. Even in like DD Warrior Lady, like where they're gonna do banish it. Well, I already got my value out of the card at that point. Triple Shine Ball for Venus, of course. You want to play 3 for discard fodder in hand because it is necessary. And obviously, Saturn's a tribute monster. You want to get the fairies in graveyard for the Medora as well. Another monster that's decent for playing like turbo fairies from deck is Soul of Purity and Light. It's a level 6, 2000 attack monster that can just be special summoned by banishing 2 light monsters from your graveyard, and has a decent like debuff effect on your opponent's combat phase. But it's a decent extender if you're playing Metamorphosis, which spoiler, I'm not. wouldn't be a bad option. Metamorphosis is a decent card too, obviously. If you want to do like a more control route with it, this is more like lenient on the aggro route for the sake of playing Venus. Triple Sanctuary in the Sky. This is the main field spell of the deck. And the most important thing to note about the field spell is Mars says it's unaffected by spell cards, but the field spell affects the controller of the fairy monster. It doesn't affect the monster at all. If it said gain 500 attack and defense, then it would then Mars would be unaffected by the attack and defense gain. But the whole battle damage your opponent, your player would control is reduced by 0. That's all on the player. So that's, I guess, the benefit of playing this old and outdated field spell. Obviously, I still play it in my normal deck profile as well, but it's more because you need it for your combo play. So it's just a one-off. But it's very integral to the actual original deck profile because they actually rely on needing it in order to even have an effect, which is why you need it. Very good card, all things considered at that point. I play Graceful Charity, and I play Pot of Greed, and no, I don't play the Delinquent Duo in this deck. I don't play anything other than Venus that reduces life points or give my opponent life points. So in that way, I don't have any equipped spell cards in the deck. You could play like Cesta Sadalga. I almost put it in the deck, but again, you can't equip it to Mars. It's decent on Medora, but your life point gain is only based on, when you actually deal damage to your opponent. You don't gain life equal to destroying monster. That's like a Guardian Angel Joan effect. The only problem with Joan, of course, is she's level 8. Moving on, we have Heavy Storm, Swords of Revealing Light, and one Terraforming. You could play 2. I don't know what. Maybe like if you played 41 cards, you play 2 Terraforming, or maybe cut back on the quick plays here. Because I'm playing the 1 MST and then 2 Emergency Provisions. You could play. If you don't like this card, you could play triple Terraforming if you really had to. Emergency Provisions, for those who don't know, you can send any number of spell or trap cards from your control to the graveyard to gain 1,000 points for each card sent. So if your opponent's under a heavy and you don't have protection, you can flip a Emergency Provisions that gain a bunch of life points. Alternatively, if you had, let's say, Mars or Saturn on field and you had the field spell in hand still, you can go Heavy Storm, chain Emergency Provisions, gain a bunch of life points for your stuff being destroyed, by catching them off guard. Because if you're setting a bunch of stuff and your opponent doesn't have like the back roll move right, there's a chance that they'll just set a bunch of stuff. So you go Heavy Storm, chain Emergency Provisions, gain a bunch of life points, destroy all your cards, play the field spell, and then win the game. Not a bad option. And then going right into the trap cards here, this is like honestly the heart and soul of the deck, other than the actual monsters of course. But this is what makes the kind of like the glue of the deck for sure. Ceasefire, very good. It's good against any flip deck. It negates their effects, flips them face up, and then burns your opponent for 500 damage for every effect monster on the field. Not bad, not bad at all. 1 Draining Shield. I would play more if I could. Just don't really have the space for it. When it's a negate attack, essentially, that also gains your life points equal to your opponent's monster's attack. Very good. 1 Dust Tornado. Just because more destruction. Your monsters, yeah, Mars has protection from spell effects, but you don't want to be in a position where you're getting outgrinded by like another control deck. Dust Tornado is also very good at that because then you go destroy something, set another card, go from there. The Magic Cylinder, again, life points matters a lot, so I play all the ones that like manipulate the life points here. And in theory, you could win the game off of it too, like a Ring of Destruction kind of thing. I don't play Ring, but yeah, I mean, you can, in theory, win through the cylinder. I guess you could play Ring because it doesn't really affect your life points per se. It just lowers both yours and opponents, and you could maybe kill easier from that point. It's a decent idea as well. Mirror Force, it's Mirror Force. And then, no introduction there. Going straight into the continuous trap cards, I have the 1 Call of the Haunted, and I play 2 Solemn Wishes. I mean, you can play 1 Call Solemn in a Ring of Destruction. That wouldn't be a bad idea. For those who don't know, Solemn Wishes says you gain 500 life points for every card you draw. It's really good for things like Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, things of that nature. Or just like stalling. It's a continuous trap, so it stays on the field for multiple turns, and you can hit the emergency provisions later. Call of the Haunted needs no introduction. It's a very good card in the format. And then going into the counter traps to finish out the deck profile, I play 2 Judgment of Anubis. You can't afford to play cards like Solemn Judgment. I thought a Fake Trap, but this card does a lot more for the deck than a Fake Trap would do. So Judgment of Anubis is a counter trap card that says you can discard a card, negate and destroy a spell card that would destroy a spell or trap card you control. And if you do, you can also just target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, burn your opponent damage equal to the attack of that monster. Very powerful punishment card. Just not the most versatile thing in the world, but because it only negates like spell, I believe it's like spell destruction. So like Dust Tornado and Breaker still gets around it, but Heavy Storm, MST are like the big 2 that get Magician of Faith back from, and these are the blow out of the water cards for sure. And then lastly, I play 1 Magic Shield 8. There's a reason why I don't play Triple Anubis, and because this card, it's essentially a Magic Jammer that also has an additional effect. So you can either Magic Jammer, so basically send a card from your hand to the graveyard to negate and destroy a spell card, or if your opponent activates a spell card that targets a monster on the field, you can negate and destroy that without discarding a card. So like Snatch Steal, Book of Moon, Soul Exchange, things of that nature. You can just straight up negate and destroy without having to discard a card. Or if they activate just any powerful spell card, so like Heavy Storm, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Delinquent Duo, you can do the Spell Jammer. You can do the Spell Jammer effect by discarding a card to negate and destroy it. Very good, very good. Anyway, that's the end of the deck profile. Hope everyone enjoyed. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to take suggestions. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.